ladies in the middle. Checks back against Carter and scores. That is atypical for the Meadow Park goal.
Quickly gets it back again. Oh, what a goal! Well, that sums up her season. The Gunners are WSL champions.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Vic Acres Wonderland. It has been a summer of hot and cold, especially in the transfer window. And speaking of hot, hey, Lottie, how are you?
I'm good. I've had a nice rest over the summer. Back. Champions League qualifying time. Am I nervous? Yes, I am after last season, but we've had a bit of a pre-season, so let's just say bring it on.
And Adam, how have you enjoyed your summer?
It's been a good summer, good chance to recharge the old batteries and go again fresh, and we're going to need them. Fast start, big start for us. No time to sit back and wait for the WSL. The season starts now, and ready for it.
One of my favourite things when we do the podcast is we get to reach out to some fantastic people. And we also have Laura from Rangers Women's Supporters Group. How are you, Laura?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Happy to have you on. So we'll start with Rangers, get a little bit of the background, Laura, and how did you come to support them and how the group actually started all together?
Yeah, well, I've supported Rangers all my life, but the women's team is kind of still fairly newish. Went professional 2019, and then it was 2020 that I started up the supporters group. Once we're obviously professional, there was kind of more about the team and that, so I thought it was good to get more support for the women's team. We were playing at the training ground, so it was just a matter of trying to get people to go along and attend. And it's kind of grew arms and legs for there. We're on all social medias. We've got our own podcast that we do. We have quite maybe 100 or so fans that go quite regularly, follow the club about the country now. We'll be going down to London for the match this week. So yeah, it's just kind of grew for there, and it just keeps growing. So it's been really good, and the club have been really good with us as well, with giving us access to the players and media access and stuff. So yeah, it's really good, and we're excited for the next kind of challenge when we come down to London.
With it growing as well, do you think that's helped with BBC Scotland helping broadcasting is it SPWL, Scottish Women's Premier League?
Yeah, the coverage of BBC is quite good. We've got some games on BBC Scotland, BBC Alba. A lot of the games are online, on BBC Sport Online as well, so that's good. We would like more coverage of it, like what you guys have got with the kind of FA player type thing, but that's possibly something that's going to come in the future. But yeah, there's games on YouTube as well for some clubs, so the coverage is certainly growing, but compared to like down in England, that we've still got quite a way to go.
What would you like to see just after this season? Would you like to see maybe sort of go towards that 300 sort of people going to see Rangers every week, or would you just like to? How would you like to see? What would be the development? What would you like to see happen?
Well, we outgrew the kind of training centre, which was like a couple of hundred people going, so we're now at Broadwood in Cumbernauld, which holds, I think it's about 5,000 or 6,000 it holds, and we're still kind of in the main stand there, so we're still trying to grow that. For if we could get a couple of thousand going regularly every week, I think that's kind of where the aim is, and then eventually get more games at Ibrox, which is obviously the men's stadium. Because once we move games to there, you kind of notice that there's not as many people going because it's obviously a bigger ground. But moving, just trying to fill out Broadwood first and foremost, so that it looks like a sellout, like what you guys have got in south. would be kind of what our aim is, so that we're packing out a smaller stadium and then turning that into filling out Ibrox.
Also, you can also contest that since you've been going, the Meadow Park is always busy as you can get.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, I couldn't even get tickets for tomorrow. I'm a bit annoyed. I did want to go with Adam and watch both games, but I've got tickets for the 7th for both games, which is something. But I couldn't get tickets for tomorrow, which annoys me. But I still get that second opportunity to see all 4 teams on the Saturday, because I'm trying to expand my football knowledge. Just like this year, I'm watching the From Bundesliga over on DAZN, so I'm quite excited to see some different talent out there. That's for sure.
Adam, are you looking forward to this one?
No, not the slightest. Of course I am. Absolutely. I'm absolutely buzzing. Yes, it's the first. I was at the first game back. I was at the Southampton game at the weekend, but obviously the first competitive game of the season. I'm excited, but I am nervous. I've spoken to other fans about this game and where Rangers are in terms of them in their league. I think they've had quite a good few wins already. But I think some of the people talk about the really big games like Rangers and Celtic, how they compare and so on. And it sounds like it's a growing league, but it doesn't sound like, and no offense, it's media men, Laura. I don't know if it's at the same level as the WSL at the moment. Exactly. Yeah. So on paper, I'm going and thinking Arsenal on paper should win this, but us Arsenal fans, we have the cloud of Paris FC over our shoulders, and so now we can't trust any of these qualifiers anymore and treat them as a formality. And anything could happen. This is basically we're straight off the pre-season conveyor belt and plonk straight into the season, and hope that we're in good shape enough to get through to must-win fixtures for us. So yeah, I'll be going there as a bag of nerves, as I always do, but excited because this, it's a fresh start, it's a new season, and hopefully we can be a bit more successful. So hopefully this is the start of something big for us this season.
So I think it would be just a nice idea just to go around and find out what people's thoughts were on the draw, because the way that it works, for those that don't know, just quickly, they pair you with 3 other teams and you basically play a mini tournament. It's almost like 2 semi-finals and then a final a couple of days later. So Arsenal have been paired with Rangers, and then you've got Atletico taking on Rosengard in the other semi-final, in quotes if you will, and they will face the third place is basically just a coefficient to sort out what will happen potentially next season. Say if this happens, if this happens again next season, there'll be a new competition that they will enter if you get knocked out of this stage. And for the chance for the winners, it's an opportunity to compete in that second playoff spot, for a playoff spot that could potentially be a banana skin. We've seen it last season, Paris FC beating ourselves on penalties and then getting Wolfsburg in the playoffs, which was quite nice, and they beat them and got into the group stage, and unfortunately didn't get any further. I think they missed out by a point or 2. But just on the draw itself, Laura, when you saw these teams being drawn, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think as the draw was going on, we were saying like in our group chats that apparently the team was saying as well, like we're going to get Arsenal. So it seemed like it was always meant to kind of happen that way. But I think the draw is one of those that you kind of, for us, it's like testing yourself against the best, or one of the best, if not the best, that's going to be in this kind of draw. So for us, it's a big challenge, obviously, as Adam said, that we're kind of up here a bit far away from the WSL in terms of where we are. Like we're kind of the best up here, if you will. Last season we kind of shot ourselves in the foot with the way we lost the league, losing it on goal difference. Otherwise we'd have been in a more favourable draw, so you kind of have to just take what you get, which is now one of the probably hardest draws and hardest ways to get through. But it's a good test for the team. One the fans are excited about, because obviously Arsenal is a massive club, so it's a challenge and one we're looking forward to.
Just sorry, just on that one with the league, and you missed out on goal difference, so a bit like Manchester City in the WSL last season. Who ended up winning the Scottish League last season?
It's Celtic.
Celtic. So Celtic, do they now go into the playoff for the next round, basically the playoff for the Champions League?
They're in the Champions path, so they've got a mini group that they play tomorrow as well. So they've got the same format, but in the Champions path.
Right.
To be the kind of easier draw, but we'll see how they favour tomorrow.
So we've got 2 Scottish sides playing these mini tournaments. Okay,
Yeah.
right. I just want to, all right, okay.
Just Adam, on the draw, just since you come in, your thoughts on the draw?
It is the most overly convoluted draw system I can think of. What's wrong with just a simple playoff 2-leg knockout, move on to the next two-team knockout, etc. Like on the men's side. The problem is, as I'm sort of looking over it, is that you have an overabundance of teams that need to squeeze itself into a very small group stage setup. You think before we went to the Swiss model on the men's side, I think you had about 8 group stages, because that's how you get a last 16 stage. Whereas with the women's side, you only get 4 group stages, which great. You get some really competitive groups like Arsenal, Lyon, and Juventus being in one group. But then you've got all these other teams, much down the line, which you need to cull effectively, because they're not going to fit into the main group stage. So this is the only way they've managed to do it, which is basically slice about 3/4 removed, because four teams in tournament, only one goes through. So you're wiping out basically 3 teams in each group. So you're wiping out 3/4 of all the teams that qualified in one round, and it's the only way they can do it. And then obviously they go into the playoffs, and it's a bit more traditional after that. Obviously, I think we are moving away from this model next season. I think we're embracing the Swiss model that the men have adopted this season. So I won't shed a tear so much seeing this go, especially as it contains the most pointless fixture, I think, in football, which is the 3rd place match in this mini tournament. I have no idea. I don't know why. I'd rather not have it. I mean, I'm all for 3rd place matches and like major tournaments with the bronze match. I know that gets a bit of stick, but there's no point. I think it's only coefficient scorings that game ends up playing in. I mean, if Arsenal end up in that game, I don't know if I want to attend, because I think the atmosphere wouldn't be great if we're playing in what is effectively dead rubber. But at least this time around, it's in our home, it's in our back garden. We're not having to go off to Sweden or Russia. It's in our hands, if you will, at Meadow Park. Hopefully the last time obviously we had to go through this, as you say, because of this new format. Just got to embrace it, not look ahead of it as we have done maybe in the past. Respect the opposition. Rangers are here on merit, and we got to, we can't afford to look past them and think we've got to get past Rangers first. So see how it goes. I think this is the last time this draw is going to happen this way, and I think I'll be glad to see it gone, to be honest.
Lottie, just when that draw happened, were you expecting the likes of Frankfurt, or potentially Frankfurt was one of the ones, but we saw what their reaction was. So. I
was kind of braced for whatever they threw at us, to be honest with you. I think after last year, I don't take qualifying with a pinch of salt anymore at all. I don't think I can add any more than to what Adam said, if I'm honest with you, because he's, as always, got all the best points. But I'd be glad to see the back of this. It'd be interesting to see the complete new layout of how they do things and how that plays out for, say if we end up in this position again next season. But if I'm honest with you, we shouldn't be.
No. So. The best way to avoid this is just to win the league. Win the league, and then we don't have to worry about it.
Exactly. It's a free. But we'll get onto that another time. It's Champions League football night. Come on.
We always say that, but I think what's going to happen. Whoever dethrones Chelsea is going to end up having it in the season where they're going to end up dropping into that 2nd place playoff because of something.
He said it. I didn't want to say it.
I'm touching wood, but let's move on. Just quickly go on to some of the rules. VAR might be used, but it's unlikely that's going to happen because it's a very small stadium, and this is the same for goal line technology. This is the first meeting between the two sides, which is, considering that this has been as you wouldn't expect it, because Rangers are such a big name in Scottish football. But the way things have gone with both sides has maybe put this to offside. That makes no sense.
I was just going to say that this isn't the first time I've actually played Scottish opposition. Do any of you know who Arsenal last played when they played Scottish opposition in Europe? Do you know which Scottish team they played?
I'm going to guess it's Queen's Park. It's going to be completely wrong.
Queen's Park, Lottie?
Oh God.
Correct, Laura. It was
Glasgow
City.
Yeah.
Back in 2014, when a certain I think Rachel Coursey got on the score sheet for Glasgow City, because they used to go quite deep in Europe when it was the old format. They used to get a few good runs in Europe, and we faced them way back. But that was 2014, so 10 years ago. That just shows how long it's been since we've had the joy of playing Scotland in this tournament. No good. But no, I think. How long have Rangers as a team? How long has it sort of been going for? As you say, because as you say, Glasgow City was the last time we played. We never played Rangers.
Yeah, well, 2008 was when the women's team was formed, but they never went fully professional until 2019. So that's what the last time we were obviously in Champions League. We got through to the stage to facing Benfica, but then got put out at that stage. So then last year we never made it because we were third place, so we never got any qualifiers, and then we're back in this year. So see how it goes.
Are you hoping, obviously with the format change and Rangers obviously challenging for the title? I'm assuming, is it top two get the European places in Scotland at the moment? Yeah. So obviously it's free for us. But we'll go to match predictions later. What are your aspirations for future seasons? Are you thinking if Rangers can get in the kind of side of the draw, if you said at the Champions Park, in the kind of side of the draw, do you have aspirations of Rangers one day making it into the group stage, getting all the way through?
Yeah, definitely. I think if we're champions and get a more favourable kind of draw, we can certainly push on and get through to the next kind of rounds or through to group stages, or if they end up having even a second European competition, I think we can go quite far in that as well, the way we're building a good squad and with Joe Potter at the helm.
Actually, that's a good point. This is because we're getting a Europa League next season, aren't we, or equivalent? I think that would be a perfect league for a Celtic, a Rangers. I think there's a few teams in the WSL we think could maybe do quite well in there, and I include Arsenal in there as well. I think that could be a great way to give, because at the moment we said the draw, it's so ruthless. It's incredibly ruthless. It's very unforgiving. It's Jonas mentioned his press conference. He's talking about like there's no second legs. It's all in the 90 minutes and it's all or nothing. I think having
Except it's not 90 minutes. It potentially, if there's a draw, not after 90 minutes, it goes to extra time, 15 minutes, 2 halves, and then you got penalties, which happens.
Yeah, all right.
Against
Going down the route of pedanticism, yes, but I think Jonas was more referring to that there's no second leg, so you're not getting. It's not a 180 minute, maybe of extra time. You don't get that security of a second game to rectify any mistakes you've made. It's all on the one game, so
it's all or nothing, basically.
Absolutely. So it would be great to see Rangers. It would be great to see Scotland, as any Rangers obviously for yourself, but it'd be great to see a Scottish team represented in the later stage of the Champions League, and it not just be representing the United Kingdom, Arsenal or Chelsea or Man City. I think that'd be fantastic to see. Yes. Especially if we can get them at the what's the big stadium? I keep forgetting. Sorry, at Rangers. What's the main stadium they use?
Ibrox Stadium.
Ibrox Champions League nights. I mean, how great would that be?
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Definitely on my bucket list.
Yeah,
that stadium.
So just quickly going on, Arsenal's last 4 or 5 games have had 3+ goals. Rangers in that time, in those past couple of games, have produced over 2.5 goals in their previous Champions League game runs. So it's saying goals are going to be galore. It's goals galore. How is everyone feeling about the game just in general? Do you think there's going to be of those 3 goals that we're going to get, or is it going to be one of those games where it's going to be very tight?
So I've spoken to some friends about this, and they seem ridiculously overconfident on that front. I think because of the disparity in the leagues. I'm not so, because I know that if you go in thinking you're going to win 5-0, it's going to be 0-0 at half time. So I'm very apprehensive on this one. I think Rangers are going to dig deep and play for, well, I think it's going to be the classic low block we've suffered all last season. I think that's what Rangers are going to give us. Ultra defensive. We'll look to try and ping us on a set piece or on the counter, and it's going to be up to us to break them down. And I think it's not going to be as easy as people are suggesting.
I'm with Adam on that one. It's not going to be easy. Don't take qualifying for granted. I think Rangers are going to bring their A game bring their A game down the road to us. So I've just, apprehensive, but I'm excited because Champions League football is almost within reach again.
I'm looking forward to hearing the anthem again. Personally, I'm looking forward.
Personally, I'm looking forward to the European away days, but that's me just dreaming. So I'm not crossing that line yet. I'm looking at it, but I've not crossed that line yet.
Laura, is any chance of over 3 goals happening, or are you just looking for a really nervy game?
Well, we've played 5 games so far in our league. We've scored 43 with 5 clean sheets, so we're certainly firing on all cylinders. But then again, it's been against kind of lower tier opposition, so there's a chance it goals. Katie Wilkinson, that we've just brought in, has scored 4 hat-tricks in 5 games. So if she herself can score 3 goals for us, that would be fantastic. But we'll see what happens tomorrow.
I was going to follow on the match. I was going to say the danger play. I think Wilkinson's the one we need to be scared of. That's the one.
Yeah, she's in really good form now. But again, it's against kind of lower tier opposition. But I think she'll fancy herself to take a couple of chances at least.
She actually was playing for Southampton last season, so we did actually see her in the Conti Cup, which has now been reformed to the FA League Cup.
It's just a League Cup now. That's it.
Yeah, it's just League. Everyone's calling it the League Cup. But as you mentioned, Laura, Rangers have not conceded in 8 games. However, are flying. They played Dundee United, won 10-0. Played Montrose, won 9-0. Played Queen's Park, won 9-0. Won 4-0 against Partick Thistle, all within the time frame that Arsenal were on pre-season since that game against Washington Spirit on August 18th. So just to put it out there, that's 4 games to Arsenal's 3. And in that time, Arsenal had some mixed fixtures in that bag. But it's going to be an interesting match on fitness if you think about it.
I mean, thanks for giving us the confidence boost, Matt. But we've
got
no end product at the moment. That doesn't give me any confidence at all.
I mean,
the thing is, with these kind of games, we want them to be firing on all cylinders because it's all about the competition and coming up against someone not necessarily a lot of people have seen or know the players. So, bring it.
It will be interesting, as you say. Rangers are coming in clearly with form. I mean, that's pretty clear. The difference is obviously the opposition. We were out there playing the likes of Chelsea. Washington Spirit gave us a very good game. We were playing in intense heat. This was very intentional. They wanted to, give us a hard pre-season and not, let's say, an easy one. Again, no offense meant for the Scottish League, but an easier pre-season where we just play teams that we're going to beat 9 or 10-0, just as a confidence booster rather than anything to test us physically. So it'll be obviously with 2 different teams are coming in at this at 2 very different sort of angles because of the resources available to them. Be interesting to see which one prevails in that regard.
Does that sway your opinion a little bit, Laura, that you might have a little bit more of an edge because of you've gone straight into the league, you haven't had the pre-season, whereas a lot of the so for the lead up, a lot of the team have been training and then only having a few matches every now and then, whereas Rangers have had those weeks to get ready and prepared for this game?
Yeah, I think you coming into pre-season and going straight into a qualifier is a bit of a leveller, and I think that's where he's kind of slipped up last season because you were thinking, all right, we're straight into this, it's Paris FC, but then obviously you come obviously at it this year with a different kind of angle, but it's the same thing. These are coming out of pre-season, whereas we've been playing competitive matches, and obviously, as we said, the levels probably not the same, but I think it could end up being quite a level game where it's going to be Arsenal and Rangers are kind of playing the same way. I think when we play, so we're usually the ones that are kind of dominating possession, whereas you are probably going to do that a bit more. So I think it's going to be quite a good challenge for both teams, and kind of level it out, because you are still trying to get the match fitness. But we've got the match fitness, but it's been against lower tier opposition. So I think it's going to be more level than people would probably like to think it's going to be.
Joe Potter's the manager at the moment, and she's been there since 2013. She's going to return back to Arsenal. She originally played for the club in 2003, 2004 before moving on to Burnham, played with WSL for the rest of her career, and then retired over at Reading in 2020. Just what does Joe Potter bring? What's the sort of style you'd say from previous managers?
She's got us attacking really well. She's got different formations, different tactics that she's brought in. She's just got the girls coached and drilled really well. Our previous manager before that was kind of had a plan A and not much of a plan B, whereas Jo seems to have a plan A, B, C, and D. So she's just come in and just last season, it was her first season there, and she nearly won a treble. She was just goal difference off winning a treble for us. So she's obviously a really hungry manager as well. She's wanting to win things. She's wanting to have her kind of style of play in that as well. And I think that's one of the reasons she's looking forward to being Arsenal, because she's obviously played there before, has a love for the club. So I think she's looking forward to testing herself against that kind of level as well, when she's obviously wanting to see where she is with her management style when we're posed a different challenge.
I did love her line that she gave, and that was grasp the opportunity. And it's such a lovely line that she gave in her press conference. I'm looking forward to seeing how this Rangers side is. Is there any other key players apart from Katie Wilson you mentioned already?
Yeah, we brought Laura Lamont in as well from, I think she was at Southampton as well, so she's another one with experience. We've got Nick Dock, who's our captain, who's played with Scotland at World Cups and never got very far right enough because it's Scotland, but she's got bags of experience. Tess Medag's played in the WSL, she's really experienced. So we've got a lot of experienced players that have played down south. Jane Ross is part of obviously the club now, she's injured, but she's obviously going to pass some good experience. So Lizzie Arnott played at Man United, so as experience. But we're also bringing youth players through as well, who are coming in and just hitting the ground running. We've got a really good academy there, that players that we're bringing through. So we've got quality all over the pitch that hopefully you aren't looking at them too much and trying to poach them off us once you see them. But we've got a good mix of youth and experience there, and we seem to have a good winning combination so far. But tomorrow's going to be probably the biggest test that we're going to face to see where we really stand amongst other football clubs.
You do say that, but the Gunners do have a past of buying players that they've previously played against. Look at the likes of Kayla Marquise ended up coming to the club in January, and a few others did follow as well. Lottie, one player that you're looking forward to see play?
Do you know what? I'm looking forward to seeing Rosa Cafferty. I'm excited. I want to see her live. I've watched her pre-season, and she's the one I want to see. I've seen Mariona Caldente, but when she came and just ruined us at the Emirates, and I just want to see someone different. So yeah, Rosa Cafferty for me.
Adam, is there anyone that you're looking forward to seeing?
Well, luckily I have already seen Rosa Cafferty play, because she was attacking my end of the pitch at Southampton, and Lottie is absolutely right to be excited, because just every time she's on the ball, something happens. She doesn't want to just play the casual sideways, backwards pass, just keep the ball going. She wants to do it. And I really, really like what I saw. I like what I saw when she was out of the States, and I like what I saw against Southampton. She was an absolute menace. And I think if she plays, she's going to give the Rangers defence a lot of problems to think about. My interest now is I've seen Caldente play a fair bit. I would like to see a bit more of her play because most of us live in America or it was in the first half against Southampton, so she's at the wrong end of the pitch for us to see. But I would like to see Katie Reid. I would like to see how she does. I'd like to see her given the opportunity. I haven't get a chance to see the squad's be declared. I don't know if she is going to be kept or she's going out on loan potentially, but I'd like to see her start because she's been very highly rated by the fans and by her fellow defenders, teammates, and by the manager. I'd like to see how she handles the pressure of a Champions League match. There's also rumours that Van Domselaar might be fit for the game. I don't think she'll start, but I wouldn't mind to see her play, but I think this might come a bit too soon. I just wanted to quickly add, because I was thinking, I said earlier about this being, Rangers going to look to bend deep. Based on what you were saying, Laura, if they're going to come out and be hyper-attacking, and this becomes an end-to-end basketball game, anything can happen. I would think that would benefit Arsenal more because I said before we've been frustrated by deep defences, and if Rangers are coming down and they want to play their game, then we might get more chance opportunities. But then it's whether the likes of Leah or Lotte or Kadina or Reid are up to the challenge. So that makes it a bit more exciting, I think, the prospect of us seeing an open game, although more nerve-wracking, I think, as well.
Definitely.
As you asked about the squad list, I actually have it in front of me. So Manu, Daphne van Domselaar and Naomi Williams as the goalkeepers, Emily Fox, Lotte Wubben-Moy, Leah Cordina, Leah Williamson, Steph Catley, Laura Weinreuther, Katie Reid is on the list, Adam.
Excellent.
Caldente, Kim Little, Frida Lindhardt-Marnham, Leah Volti, Katrina Cool, Kyra Cooney-Cross for Lotte, Beth Mead, Katie McCabe, Kafai, Lena Hurtig, Caitlin Ford, Alessia Russo, Stina Blackstenius, Freya Godfrey, and Michelle Agaman. However, Victoria Pelova and Amanda Ilestedt, Vivian Leah Harbour, and Maddie Earl will be on the B list for that, which basically is like your main. Have Rangers given out their official squad list? Is there any players missing on that, Laura?
They've not given it an official squad list, but we've got quite a few players that are injured, like Jane Ross is out injured today. We've got a few injuries. Megan Bell's out injured. But I think the teams that have played so far is the squad that's kind of travelled in anyway, so I don't think there'll be any surprises, to be honest.
I'm a bit disappointed about the Jane Ross one because she's actually probably one of the more well-known players, more of a household name. She played at Manchester City, won the league with them. I think she played at West Ham United as well. Scored quite a few goals against Arsenal. If you can flick back 3 or 4 years, she's got, you mentioned a lot of experience. I was hoping to see that sort of come back to Meadow Park again. So to hear that she's on the treatment table is a bit of a disappointment. What's she out with?
We've not actually been told. She obviously just came back for an ACL injury. So I think it's maybe just something she then had to get another bit of surgery. So I think it's just a kind of reoccurring thing with her knee, but we've not officially been told what the injury is. But I'm assuming it's just something to do with her knee because she's obviously been struggling with it.
Hopefully that's not too bad because that has happened to a couple of our players when they've come back from ACLs. Taya Goldie, most recent one, Vivian Miedema last year as well had a bit of a slight issue, had to get that surgery redone. So hopefully it's not too bad and fingers crossed for them off. There is bad news for Arsenal fans. Steph Catley is unavailable for this one, as well as Beth Mead, but there's likelihood that Beth Mead might take part on Saturday's game. Lottie, how are you feeling? Because you're smiling.
Yeah, as I said, I've got tickets for Saturday, so I'm quite happy with that. If their fitness level's not there, I'd rather not risk it. So yeah, I'm happy for them to sit this one out. It will give it will give Katie the leeway to take up that left back position. And also we can see someone else in Beth Mead's spot for a change. As much as I love Beth, this is nothing against her. It'd be nice to see someone there other than Beth Mead. But the question is, Matt, who do you put there?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to finding out who's going to be playing in that attacking midfielder role and who's going to
Yeah.
be playing on that right wing.
Adam, just before you disappeared, we were just talking about no Beth Mead. Who do you put
Yes,
there
I think-
instead?
Based on pre-season and who has played there, I think Ford gets put there. Because Ford was put there, I know, annoyingly, I know, but she was put there for the Southampton game with Caldante on the left. And I think it's not what I want to see. I just think with the options available,
Don't either.
it'd be Ford right, it'd be Caldante left, and it'd be Rosa at the 10. And I just think that's the way. Because I personally would have put Vivian Leah there, but she's not in the squad.
No, she's
But
on
I
the
would've-
B
I would've-
list.
She's on the B list, so she's not available. And I just look through the team, and I can't really see another. No other is jumping out, because like when we had the Chelsea game, it was I think it was Katrine Mollicall who came out to play the right wing. She's not a right winger. I just think unless Hurtig was fully fit, you'd put her there. But no, I can only see Ford going there and Caldente going well left, and just as a matter of that's who we can do. Unless because I was going to say unless McCabe, but then Steph Catley's in, just so McCabe will just be left back. So,
Yeah.
That is a good point, because if no one's playing that left back, you could ultimately have Emily Fox on that left, have Leah on the right, and then Katie McCabe on the right wing.
The only other player I can think could play there would be Michelle Adjumon. That's the only other player I think could potentially be used there.
I'm sure Mariona can play on both sides, but she prefers the left.
That's quite funny, because if Vic was playing,
So I know she can play completely up front anywhere. So
yeah.
If Vic was able to play, she'll be able to play on the right hand side.
Yeah.
Fortunately, she's got an ACL.
Yeah.
Is
But she is back in training. That's the good news.
Yeah. Is that one of the issues? Like when you go and see some of those clubs that are more known across the world, is that when you have the likes of international stars with the Beth Meads and Steph Catley, Laura, is that something that sort of gives you a little bit of joy, but at the same time, I'm missing the chance to see what a superstar here?
Yeah, I think when I seen the news, I was kind of like, good, Beth Meads it. That's one thing at least. But yeah, she's an amazing player, so it's disappointing because you want to face the best, so you want the best players to be available, really. But in terms of if we want to kind of qualify, that's kind of works in their favour a bit. But you've got so much quality anyway that it's going to be great to see like world class players playing and seeing how our players kind of match up against them and try and stop them. And it gives our players experience of coming up against the best. So a lot of ours are on like international duty a lot, so they are kind of playing these kind of players. Like obviously Scotland played England recently, so faced these kind of players already, so kind of know what they're coming up against. But in terms of doing it at club level, it's a bit different. So yeah, you want to face the best. So it's disappointing she's out, but also it might help us out a wee bit.
And a bit of a random one, Laura. Are you looking forward to seeing Kim Little play?
Yeah, she's obviously a legend of the game, and she's it's disappointing that she's not even playing for Scotland now because she's so experienced and a player that obviously is just phenomenal. And it's good to see that she's still obviously going to be playing for you. And I think we've obviously got a lot of Scottish players, so I think they'll be looking forward to coming up against her as well. I think like Nick Dock, that's played with her quite a lot, so I think that'll be a good wee battle, them kind of coming up against each other. But yeah, she's obviously a Scottish legend for us, so yeah, it'll be good to see her and how she fares against us.
So lastly, it's a 7:30 kickoff, and the only place to find it is on Arsenal.com. This is kind of a worry for me because you go into, say, qualification and there's only one output, but no one's. Usually you go into, say, BBC. I've seen it a couple of times, BBC Scotland over the summer, where they on the men's side it's a European game and they've got the rights to show that match. It does worry me that there's there's nothing out there to say, hey, we'll take the Champions League qualifiers. Just curiously, Laura, in the last couple of years when Rangers have had that European trips to make, especially in the playoffs and these mini tournaments, has the Rangers had anything to say, oh, you can watch the game on the website or anything like that in the past?
It's just been the team we played, is it PAL? They streamed it for their YouTube channel, so I watched it for that. And then I think the Benfica game was on Rangers TV, so that was the way to watch it. But in terms of like the BBC taking it on for the women's side, they don't seem to show any interest, which is probably even more disappointing when it's like a Scottish team versus an English team. That's going to draw in a lot of interest from people, and it's kind of feels like a bit of a missed opportunity. But at least Arsenal are showing it, because it could have been that nowhere was showing it and you would only get to see it if you were at the game, which with a small-ish crowd compared to the two fan bases would be really unfortunate. So at least it's available somewhere, but it is disappointing that it's not on BBC Scotland or even on BBC Sport, like online, that people could watch it or stream.
Adam, is this one of these things that does frustrate you when you go on to women's football as well, the fact that it's only available on the club's website?
Yes, but it's a bigger issue with that, because it's not just there's a void in TV coverage in general. When you think about the Champions League qualifiers, you think about the League Cup group stage matches. There are a lot of games that are still not. No one's picked up the tab for. No one wants to take ownership and says, "I'll broadcast that." And so it is having to be done in-house by clubs, either by Arsenal if they're playing, but sometimes not even Arsenal doing it. I mean, the League Cup game against Southampton last season, Southampton broadcast that one. That wasn't even on the FA player. And breaking news, by the way, the FA player is no longer doing League Cup or WSL content, and it's all gone. So again, that's another problem with the platforms, is there's no stability either. So it's a problem that a major broadcaster like the BBC, ITV, Channel 4, 5, Sky, TNT, Eurosport, whoever, no one has decided to take ownership of, or even DAZN, I should say, who obviously have the group stage. Nobody decided to take ownership of these matches, which is a shame. And then the problem is not only take ownership, but then do you want to have them behind a paywall? Because everyone wants them for free. So how do you make it a profitable enterprise? So then there's lots of questions. If you take ownership of the matches and say I'm going to broadcast them, but if you say, and you're going to have to subscribe to my channel, and pay, $4.99 or whatever, $2.99 a month or a year or whatever, to pay for the privilege of watching the game, for people to say no, and then nothing happens. So there's a real conundrum there. And DAZN, we all know, had that, where they tried to put a lot of their games behind the paywall for the Champions League, and that didn't go down too well. It's a problem that needs resolving, but I don't know what the solution is. And at the moment, we're sort of stuck with a situation where we'll just let the clubs broadcast it to their own fans, because they're going to be the only two sets of fans that are really going to watch the game. And that's it. That's the only people we need to cater for in that instance, unfortunately.
Lottie, any idea about how you feel on this?
It is a little bit irritating, because I know there's a lot of people who do come to women's games that are obviously our friends, and they do want to watch it, but instead they've got to go through, for example, with us for this tournament, you all watch it through Arsenal.com, but not everybody has an Arsenal membership. Although it's free to sign up to get a digital one. Do you really want to, if you're an opposition fan, do you really want to be doing that? I really wouldn't, but it seems to be, from what Adam said previously, it seems to be the norm. So I think with the qualifying, personally, there's just not enough want for it to demand TV coverage completely. Plus the fact there's probably several other mini tournaments going on for qualifying, and DAZN probably don't have enough to stretch it, because the big teams where the bigger like the fan bases, like Barcelona's, let's just go with Barcelona for now, because they've qualified. There's no problem. They don't need to go through this, whereas everybody else does. So I'm not impressed, but it's just the way it is for now. I do think it will grow. I do think it will change. But again, it's just us needing to be patient with it.
we should add also that obviously it won't matter next season because this mini whole qualification tournament goes, so we don't have to worry about broadcast rights for this. But as you say, there are other bits that do need looking at.
See, I'm interested to know what your teams are going to be for this game. I think we'll go with Adam first.
Me? Or who?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have given it some thought, and that has now changed because of the recent news in the press conference that Jonas and was made in terms of who's available. So I think it'll be Manu in goal. I think it'll be a defence of McCabe at left back, Fox at right back, and then it's a question of who do I think and who do I want at centre back. I'd like to see Leah and Katie Reid partner together. They got the first half together against Southampton, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jonas just lent an experience and went Leah and Leia and just went for a Williamson-Cadena partnership. But I'd like to see a Williamson-Katie Reid partnership there. And then I think in the midfield, it will be Kim and KCC. And then I think it'd be a front three of Caldante, Rosa and Ford with Russo leading the line. I don't think Stina's fully fit yet. So I think Stina will be on the bench and Russo will start.
Lottie, who's your team?
Yeah, no, it's Manu. Then we'll go from left to right. We'll go Katie, Lotta, Wubben-Moy, Leah Williamson, Emily Fox, and then Kyra Cooney-Cross, Kim Little, Rosa at that 10. And then on the left, I put Mariona there, Russo up top, and then Ford on the right. Because I've got no choice. Sorry, I know. I'm still on that boat. I'm not happy with her after that drop off last season. I'm still on that boat. I'm not over it.
I think I would go with Manu in goal. Left back, I will go with Emily Fox. Right back, I'm going to Laura Venerator, Leah Cadena, and Leah Williamson in the middle. Then Kim, I'm going to go with Frida as Frida alongside Kim, and then I think we will see Mariona in the centre, and then I think we'll probably see Caitlin Ford on the left. And who's going to be on that right? I haven't mentioned Katie. I think Katie's going to be on that right, and then I think Leslie is going to start. Laura?
Katie McCabe on the right.
Right wing, yeah.
Oh, and then Emily Fox at left back.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Laura, who would you imagine is going to be starting for Rangers?
It depends what formation Joe wants to go with. Sometimes we're playing with 3 at the back. She's started kind of doing a 4-4-2, so I think she might go with that just to have us a bit more compact against us. So I would imagine it would be Vicky Essen in goals, back 4, Leah Eddy, Laura Rafferty, Catherine Hill, Nick Dock. In the middle, Lizzie Arnott, Chelsea Cornett, Liv McLaughlin, and Brogan Hay, possibly, but that could change. That's kind of area that we kind of keep switching up. And then up front, I would imagine it would be Katie Wilkinson and Rio Hardy. I would think so.
You stole my heart again there. You've got Laura Rafferty's was one of my favourite players when I got to see her play a couple of times down at Southampton. She was such a fantastic player. I'm sure she's really enjoying it up at Rangers at the moment. And it's one of those where you forget that players have moved on past other teams. Scores? What scores? I'm going to go Lottie first.
You went to mix husband and faces. Oh, I'm going to go 3-2 to the Arsenal. I want goals.
Adam?
I am going 3-1.
3-1
to Arsenal. To Arsenal, I should just clarify.
Laura?
Oh, my heart says 2-0 Rangers because I've got to back my team, but it'll probably be more like 2-0 Arsenal, to be honest. But hopefully it's Rangers.
I think this is going to be an interesting game, and I wouldn't be surprised if Rangers score first. So I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal, but Rangers score first.
No
You
shout
got a
for
nice, you're like
penalties,
nice
extra
mini
time.
acca building there.
No extra time, no penalties,
No
nothing.
extra time, no. I do think that there
Adam,
will be a
don't.
heart attack.
Adam, you're there all day. Don't worry, you'll be fine.
There will be a heart attack moment. I think it will be probably Rangers scoring like in the first couple of minutes or
Do you
something.
know what
If-
you're saying
if
now?
we
I'm
score
glad I'm
first-
at home.
If we score first, it gives us our moment, and then you'll probably run over us after that. So at least we get our moment, you get your moment, everybody's happy.
Oh, agreed.
And that is all for us on Vic Acres Wonderland. Thank you all for joining us. Laura, where can the lovely people find you?
RFCWSG on all social media platforms. We've got all the content going, so just follow us there, and that'd be great.
Adam, where can the lovely people find you?
You can find me at Adam Salter 4, and you can find me on Threads as well at Adam_Salter 4.
Lossie, where can the lovely people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, Lottie_AWFC.
You can also follow the pod at VAW Pod. You can also follow me at MattLR28. That is all for tonight.
Matt, I am going to butt in there. You can also follow the pod at VAW Pod on Threads, as well as Instagram. We've now started that up and running, not just Twitter, that is Instagram and Threads, VAW Pod.
And we should also mention, Adam, you've got your archive as well.
I do. I was going to keep that one dry, but yes, I am running the Arsenal Women Archive. Bit of a breaking announcement. We are only 2 games away from having footage from every single WSL game that Arsenal have ever played in. We're just 2 games short, sadly, from the 2011 season. I'm not holding my breath on it. We've got a lot of games scheduled between now and the end of next season. So do give it a follow. There's some really good games coming up and some really interesting footage from as far back as 1991. So do keep your eye out for that.
So that's all for tonight. And thank you all for joining us wherever you're watching, listening. And this time, grasp the opportunity.